Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today we are going to be doing a little community Q&A session. I've screenshotted some of the most common questions that I get on my YouTube channel from you guys here in our community, and I'm going to do my best to answer those questions for you today. These questions are all intermittent fasting related. So if you have some questions, hopefully we will get those answered for you today. I am going to use this video as a little bit of a twofold video process for our community. One, to get these questions answered that have been asked, and two, to use this video as a resource type of video. In case you have a question, I will have easy access to refer you to a video that will get all the questions answered for you. So that's how we're going to address today's video. I will make sure that this video is broken up into topics. So if you just want to jump to a topic and get your question answered, that's fine. I am going to talk about meal plans and realistic ways of eating toward the end of the video. So if you have questions about nutrition while you're practicing intermittent fasting, those questions will be toward the end. So make sure you stick around for that. If you have a question that didn't get addressed in today's video, please make sure you leave it in the comment section down below, because my goal is to do one of these videos about every 30 days to every 6 weeks, so that we can have a resource type of video that we can refer back to if we do in fact have questions. If you are new here, my name is Diane Parham. I am the creator of the online course and community, the Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman course. It is a course that I designed for women in our community specifically. It is a course that will help you understand intermittent fasting. It will help you understand the changes that are going on in your body as a 50-plus-year-old woman, and will help you get ahead of the menopausal game. So if you're interested in jumping into class with us, all the information about jumping in will be included in the description box below. And any video that I reference in today's Q&A session will also be included in the description box below. All of these questions were taken directly from my public comment section on YouTube, so I am not doing anything to block out any usernames or protect anybody's identity, because you can go find these right on my YouTube channel. I will include the questions on the screen so you can read them while I'm answering them, and then I also have them here on my phone, so you'll see me looking down and reading the questions. So first question: 16 hours every day. I'm 55 years old and it's not working. Been doing this for about 4 months. So this comment came in the comment section of a video titled "Why a 16-Hour Fast is Not Enough for Menopausal Women." So I have done several videos where I explain why the 24-hour fast is so magical for women who are in the transitional season of menopause, starting with perimenopause all the way through to postmenopause. So that 0-hour mark when we start our fast to the 12-hour mark when our insulin has the opportunity to be at its lowest because we haven't interrupted it, is what we call the fasting window. So you're just not doing anything to create a new insulin response, and you're preparing your body to enter what I like to describe as the fasted state. If you're fasting for 16 hours, meaning you go from the 12-hour mark to the 16-hour mark, you're only allowing your body 4 hours in the fasted state. For a lot of women who are struggling with weight loss, menopausal belly fat, insulin resistance, diabetic conditions, autoimmune disorders, you name it, if you're unhappy with something that's going on with your body, 4 hours is just not enough time in the healing window of the fasted state for you to be able to benefit from the results of what intermittent fasting can provide for us. This is why here in this community and the course that I teach implements a 20-hour fasting window. You get that full 8 hours in a fasted state, plus you get the 12 hours of fasting. That's where the 20 hours is coming from, for your body to have an opportunity to heal itself on a cellular level. So you're going to be able to take advantage of some of the benefits of autophagy, and you're also going to have the opportunity to reverse a lot of these pesky things that are ailing us simply because we're aging. So if you're currently fasting for 16 hours and you're not getting the results that you were hoping for, I want to ask you why you're sticking with something that's not working for you, and what is keeping you from entering into a 20 20-hour intermittent fasting protocol. If you're scared about fasting for 20 hours or you don't understand the benefits, that is why we have a course available. Check the description box below. Being in class will change everything for you because you're going to be able to experience all the amazing benefits of what a 20-hour fast can do for you with support from community, with the support from me, and you'll be able to see firsthand in real time what I have been talking about here and why the 20-hour fast is so magical. So if you're doing something that's not working for you, ask yourself why that is and what it is that's holding you back from possibly doing something that could work wonders for you. But this is someone in our community that had asked me a question about a clean fast and asked if something like Crystal Light or coffee creamer could be interrupting their fasting window. And I did, like I usually do when I get asked questions in this community, is I answer you with your own question, because my goal is to get you to think for yourself. If you're always relying on someone else to give you a quick answer, a couple of things can happen. One, they might not give you the right answer for you. They're going to give you the right answer for them. And two, they're going to keep you from the opportunity to think it through for yourself. And when you have a question and you can find your own answer, that result is going to stick with you longer because you did it for yourself. So this person took out their Crystal Light and they took out their coffee creamer and started getting amazing results. They answered their own question. Coffee creamer and Crystal Light was in fact holding this person back from getting the results that they were hoping for. And as soon as they leaned in and trusted the clean fast, the results started coming for them. Again, get really good at answering your own questions. That's the mindset approach, and the bottom line of everything that I coach here in this community is we have to take responsibility for ourselves. Oftentimes when we ask those questions like Crystal Light or coffee creamer or stevia or whatever it is we're doing in our fasting window, we want someone to tell us the soft answer, right? Like, oh no, you're fine. As long as it's under 15 calories, you're gonna be okay. And then we're frustrated because we're not getting the results we were hoping for. So if you want to get the truth about a question that you have, and you have the question because you're not getting the results you were hoping for, you have to get really honest with yourself. Fasting is fasting. And if you want to reap the benefits of what a fasted state, the 12 hours to that 20-hour mark, are going to give you, you have to be really serious about it. Now, once you get the results you were hoping for, you do have the right and the opportunity to play around with your fasting window a little bit. But if you start to see those results slipping away, you have to go back and be honest with yourself about why that is. And if it is the coffee creamer or whatever it is you're allowing in your fasted state, then you have to ask yourself the question, is what I'm doing in my fasted state worth what I am currently experiencing? And if it is, great, you can keep it in. If it's not, then you have to ask yourself why those things are more important to you than you looking and feeling your best. And a clean fasted state will always give you the opportunity to look and feel your best. Hands down, never fails anyone. Okay, this question I get a lot in a variation of wordings. So I'm going to read this one and then just know that this applies to any variation of what a clean fast is. So could you please define what you mean by clean fasting? So clean fasting is when we give our body the most advantageous opportunity for healing. Like, that's the easiest definition I can come up with to explain why clean fasting is so important and what it does for us when we do participate in clean fasting. So again, we're starting from the time we start our fast, so the last time we're feasting in any capacity, to the 12-hour mark is when we are fasting, meaning we're choosing to put ourselves in a state where we're not going to put anything in our body that's going to interrupt insulin, and we're going to get to that 12-hour mark where our insulin is at its lowest point. From the 12-hour mark to the 20-hour mark, so an additional 8 hours, is where we want to keep things clean. Fasting is fasting. We're not going to put anything in our body. But from that 12-hour mark to the 20-hour mark, we have all kinds of opportunities to make decisions about things we think we can and cannot do in a fasted state. I always recommend keeping it clean. Clean means water, electrolytes that have nothing added to them, so no cutesy little flavorings and no stevia additives, just minerals, potassium, magnesium, sodium, calcium in its pure form. You can get mineralized water, you can get drops, you can get unflavored things. So whatever works for you is fine. You just can't have anything in it that could possibly create an insulin response in your body hormonally. We start that at the 12-hour mark and we end that at the 20-hour mark. Some other things that you could possibly have in your fasted state that's not going to interrupt your insulin responses at all is black coffee or any kind of black or green unflavored tea. Now I know there's all kinds of different colors of teas and different variations of coffee. So the most important thing to remember is it can have nothing in it that's going to cause your body to have a hormonal response. The hormone that could be responding is insulin, because then we have just knocked ourselves out of a fasted state. This is again where we have to just think. If I put this thing in my body, am I running the risk of creating an insulin response and knocking myself out of a fasted state? Yes or no? If it's yes, you have to ask yourself if that is worth it based on what it is you say that you want for yourself. Again, it's that emotional thing or the emotional permission we want from someone to say, you're fine, it's just 15 calories. You're fine, there's no sugar in it. You're fine. But what if you're not fine? What if that one little pesky thing that you're doing at 8 o'clock in the morning when you're 14 hours into your fasting window and 2 hours into your fasted state just knocked you out of the opportunity to be in a healed state of fasting, and you're oblivious to it? And then you're frustrated, like, I'm doing all these things and I'm trying to fast and I'm not losing any weight and I'm not feeling any better. My sleep is still horrible. My hormones are out of balance. And what do I do? Take whatever it is you're putting in your fasting window out. Water, minerals, black coffee, and whatever version of tea that you choose to consume that doesn't have anything in it that could possibly knock you out of a fasted state. That is clean fasting. So I recently just had a question about, can you have water during a fasting window? Yes. The only time water is not used during a fasting window is for dry fasting. And I know that there are some religious reasons for dry fasting here in this community. I don't promote dry fasting. I don't practice dry fasting. So if that is something that you're interested in, I always recommend going off and doing some research on your own about dry fasting. But here we do fasting with water, minerals, and if you like coffee or tea that is plain, nothing added to it, then that it seems to be working well for a lot of women in our community. The one thing that I like to caution on about black tea or coffee, or any kind of tea and coffee, is that some people have a difficult time metabolizing coffees and teas or caffeine in general. And so you want to make sure that you're very aware of how caffeine in general affects you. If you find that you're having difficulty sleeping or you're having, some anxiety kind of issues, you might want to take a break from caffeine, see if things settle down, and then kind of reintroduce it if you'd like. But so not everyone can drink caffeine or use caffeine in a fasted state. Most people can. Just make sure you understand which one of those groups you fall in. Okay, I love this question. And again, I got this question in a variety of different phrasing. So I'm just gonna generally answer this question, but no, it gets asked in a bunch of different ways. My question is, how can I keep from gaining lost weight back when I break my fast? What we have to remember about intermittent fasting when we do it correctly, and my definition of correctly is the 0 to 12 hours of fasting, not putting anything in your body, water, or not, if you're fasting at night, you probably don't want to use any coffee or tea. Then from the 12-hour mark to the 20-hour mark, we keep it clean, water, black coffee, tea. We've talked about that. So once you understand what your body is capable of doing in a clean fasted state, meaning you're not creating new hormonal responses, you're giving your body the opportunity to go within, find all the things that are causing you problems, and your body will have the opportunity to consume those problems for you. And then you open up your feasting window, making really informed feasting choices to support the life that you say you want is really important. We're going to talk about this a little bit more at the end of today's video, but you want to make sure that you're coming from the mindset in that feasting window is, I'm feasting so that I can fast. And that really is the healthiest approach to fasting long and feasting well. A lot of people come into intermittent fasting with the mindset of, I fasted, so therefore I can eat whatever I want. And that's never been a true statement. We've never been able to eat whatever it is we say that we want and have the body that we're happy with and be able to lose weight and be healthy, happy, and energetic. I mean, for most people, that's just not a true statement. We do have to make some exceptions that are intelligent and very well thought out so that we can get what it is that we say what we want with this life that we have. And for most of us, that's making healthy and informed food choices. And so the best way to not gain weight with anything that we're doing is figure out the foods that work best for you and create the mindset of, I'm fasting for the healing benefits that I know my body can create for me when I'm fasting correctly. And I'm going to enter my feasting window so that tomorrow's fast is going to have the most advantageous opportunities to do its best healing. If we don't go into fasting with that mindset approach about feasting, then oftentimes what our next fast will be is just a cleanup process from our last feasting experience. We don't want to waste our time with that. So make sure you're feasting to fast, and then make sure you're making informed, nutritious food choices for you and what it is that you say that you want, and you won't gain any weight. Okay, another food related question. How do you get enough calories in 4 hours? First, we have to ask ourselves, how many calories is enough calories? And what does calories mean to you? So I don't really look at anything anymore from the calories standpoint. I really do look for my food intake from the macronutrient and or nutrient density standpoint. Does this food that I'm about to consume, is it going to do the work that I want it to do for my body so that I can, whatever it is you're looking for? And so a lot of people get really afraid with fasting because they think they're not getting enough calories. But if we look around, there aren't a whole lot of people who are missing out on food consumption. Most people are complaining about the weight they have to lose, the fatigue that they're feeling, the brain fog, the belly fat, the lack of energy, the lack of vitality, like you name it, there's all these complaints that everyday people are walking around with that are caused by over consuming food. We just never give our body a break. And so one of the lessons that I teach in my class the very first week is why you don't have to count calories anymore. And the beautiful thing that happens for us on our behalf when we follow that 12 hours of fasting and that 8 hours in a fasted state is that our body is going to find the calories from the inside to support what it is we need, and then we feed intuitively, or we feed to our fullness feeling in our feasted state with the mindset of, I'm feasting so that I can fast tomorrow and everything is going to be fine. We are overfeeding ourselves chasing calories. Stop chasing calories and eat food that will allow you to look and feel your best, and you won't have to worry about anything. Okay, here's another one that's a little lengthy, so I will make sure I leave this one on the screen. But she's basically asking, is it normal for her to feel tired when she's fasting for 20 hours and feasting for 4? Absolutely. Your body is switching over from most likely being a sugar burner to a fat burner, and that takes energy and that takes resources. So your body is working overtime to get through sugar back up and then tap into our fat stores for our source of energy, which is a much more efficient and a much more energized feeling of energy. So you have to get through that transition of utilizing sugar that's in storage, glycogen stores, and then switch over to fat utilization. Everything is gonna be okay. It's a little bit uncomfortable, but once you get past that, you'll be home free, you'll be experiencing the energized sense of calm, and you'll start noticing all the amazing benefits of what intermittent fasting can do for you. Again, this is one of those reasons why I highly recommend jumping into class with us. We go over this in the very first week. Everyone in class is going through the same experiences the very first week, and everyone is tired on the same day, and then everyone is energized on the same day. And I explain to you in real time why this is happening to your body. Very normal, you just gotta get through it. Okay, I love this comment as well, and she's asking, can you explain how this differs from one meal a day? And so this is from the video, why the 20-hour clean fast is the best weight loss tool for women. So one meal a day, or OMAD, is literally one meal a day. So if you think about sitting down and having a dining experience or a feasting experience, you probably could give yourself about an hour to have that meal. So oftentimes 1 meal a day is referred to as the 23-1 protocol, meaning you're fasting for 23 hours and you're feasting for 1. There are a lot of people who thrive with this kind of fasting protocol. A lot of people who are really busy, or they just like the break from having to chase food all of the time, or they're wanting to do some deep cellular healing. Like, there's lots of reasons why someone would want to practice a 1 meal a day type of lifestyle. For me personally, I'll do a 1 meal a day here and there, but the 24 really does support the lifestyle that I want to live. I'm a very active person. I love my exercise. I love my running. And so a 4-hour feasting window just suits me better. The 20-hour fast and the 4-hour feast is literally a 4-hour feast. A 1 meal a day is literally 1 meal a day. I hear a lot of people talking about the fact that they're practicing 1 meal a day, but they're eating like 6 times a day. Like, a meal is not defined by a placemat and your, silverware in the proper place setting and a plate and a folded napkin. Like, that's not what a meal is. A meal is every time you put something in your body that's going to create an insulin response and start the digestive process. We want to count that as a meal. If you only have that experience once a day, that's an OMAD fasting lifestyle. If you're having snacks, if you're having dinner with your family, if you're having, little proteins here and there, and you're having this little drink, or you're putting stuff in your coffee, those all count as meals. And the very first experience you have with that, so if you break your fast with the collagen coffee, then that is your first meal of the day, and you won't end that feasting experience until you have your last meal a day. Those hours that you're in a feasted state, which is the opposite of a fasted state, are going to be your feasting window and will make up your fasting protocol as well. So 1 meal a day is literally 1 meal a day. Okay, another common question that we get here in this community is, will I lose muscle or just fat when practicing the 24 lifestyle, so the 20 hours of fasting and the 4 hours of feasting? And will this still work if you are perimenopausal, menopausal? Yes, it's perfect for us. And it's perfect for perimenopausal, menopausal, postmenopausal women, because our lives are changing and our hormones are changing. This is why fasting has become such a clutch tool for us women, because it just does the job for us. Now, will you lose muscle in an intermittent fasting protocol? I don't know. That all is dependent on you. Like, what kind of exercise are you doing? What kind of nutrition are you implementing in your life? Like, does your body hold muscle easily? Is your body the kind of body that is difficult to put on muscle and hold muscle? Like, there's so many different factors at play for that type of question based on you, the individual woman, not fasting in general. I happen to be the kind of body that puts muscle on very quickly and loses muscle very quickly. I can lose fat very quickly and I can put on fat very quickly. So for me, I know that about my body, and I adjust what I do in my fasting, my feasting, and my exercise based on what I know about my body from my past experiences. You have to look at your body type. You have to look at how your body metabolizes and uses food that you use. You have to look at what your lifestyle is. And then you have to look at how willing you are to be very honest with yourself in your feasting window. The one thing to know about fasting is that it is the most optimal opportunity for our body to work on our behalf. And our human growth hormone, when we are fasting correctly, is firing off in like record levels for us. So there's no problem with fasting long and feasting well, but there are some things to consider about you, the individual woman, and how does your body respond to certain changes that you're making in your lifestyle. That will be the ultimate way to answer whether you're going to lose muscle or just lose fat, and which one you might notice that you're losing first, and which one might come back the quickest if you start to make some changes toward your old lifestyle as well. So lots of things to consider, but it's not fasting in general that's going to cause any woman to lose any muscle. Okay, this is another really common question, and then I'm going to get to the food or nutrition part specifically, is can I take vitamins and collagen and hay fever tablets in my fasting window without breaking my fast? I'm just going to say that that's just going to be a no. because I don't know what's in those tablets. You know, so many times we think we're taking supplements and, you know, they're the best thing for us, and they can be, but you have to be really diligent about reading those ingredients levels and knowing where your supplements are coming from and how they're manufactured, and trusting the source. If you're just going to your local, you know, wellness store like a CVS or a Walgreens or one of those kind of places, or I see this a lot of even like the Costco's, is they have supplements that have, if you turn them around and read the ingredients, they're not going to be the best ingredients. There's some filler ingredients in there. Corn, wheat, soy, those kind of things that could be causing you to have some reactions in your bodies. I wouldn't risk that in my fasted state, and I would be very diligent about reading the ingredients label in all of those kind of products that I'm putting in my body. Hay fever, allergy medicines, supplements, all those things. I did a couple of videos about 7 years ago when I was on my journey to clean up my diet from soy, and while I was actively eliminating soy from my diet, I had been exposed to soy 15 times in one day. And a lot of those exposures that I had to soy were from my supplements. So be very diligent about that. I will include in the description box below the company that I purchase all of our family supplements through. They have the cleanest ingredients and are third-party tested. So if you're interested in that, you can look in the description box below. I will include a link to that. We don't want to have something that's supposed to be doing us good like supplements be something that could be causing us from getting the results that we said that we really wanted for ourselves simply because of some pesky little ingredient in them. So do the due diligence on that. I would not risk putting something like that in my fasted state. If I really wanted to get the best results, I would put that in my feasting window. The other question I get a lot is about medication. Should I take my medication in my fasting window? And the best advice I can give on that is you have to speak to your doctor who's prescribing you those medications. For some people, there's a reason why you have to take it in the morning, maybe so your body metabolizes that medicine in a certain way. And for a lot of medications, they just tell us to take it in the morning because it's habitual. We're going to have it with our coffee or have it with our breakfast, and we're going to be more likely to remember to take that medication from just habit that we have as human beings, right? But if you're not a person who has breakfast or does anything in the morning and there's no medical need to take that medicine in the morning, you could take it in the afternoon when you're breaking your fast, then ask that question very specifically. We have found here in this community that a lot of women have asked that question of their doctor, and the doctor's like, you can take it whenever you want. The most important thing is that you take your medication. And so talk to your doctor, see if there's a medical need to take it at a certain time of the day, or if they're just having you take it in the morning because they want you to take it with food, ask if you can take it later in the day when you are going to have some food, and then see what kind of answer that you can get, and that can clear up that problem really easily. I'm going to post this question here as well. I'd love to hear more on the side of eating healthy during the window phase of fasting. I think they mean the feasting window phase of fasting. Nobody talks about that in realistic terms. And so I answered this question on my YouTube channel. So you can, I'll put the link of the video that I answered this. And here's how I like to answer these types of questions. I am not nutrition focused with how I like to teach women how to intermittent fast. And I do that very specifically. I have a certain way that I need to eat and enjoy eating in my feasting window based on what my body needs are, what my body's intolerances are to certain foods, and what my family does socially and my friends do socially. And so that's how I have developed my feasting window. There are a lot of foods that I just simply won't eat because I don't enjoy them. And there's a lot of foods that I eat on repeat because it's simple and I do enjoy them and they work for me. It is no other person's responsibility to feed you or tell you what to eat. This is where it is really important as grown women, we do the work for ourselves, because I don't know what realistic is, and a lot of other people don't know what realistic is for you, the individual woman. Like, what is your time schedule like? What is your budget like? What are your likes? What are your dislikes? What are your customs? Like, if I were to give you my food plan, there's going to be a lot of animal protein in it. And if you're not a person who consumes animal protein, I didn't do you any favors. Or if you're a person, if I give you something that's all plant-based and you're like, I'm not a plant-based person, I need to have some animal protein, then I'm not doing you any favors, because I'm just going to give you what works for me. So it is really important for you to implement your own personal experiences. I always recommend doing a little journaling of your own personal food history. Like, where have you had problems with certain food groups in the past? And no matter what the research says today, if you have a problem with that food group, you have a problem with that food group. I am one of those people that cannot consume a lot of protein. I don't know why that is. My body just cannot break that down and process it on a beneficial level for me. Like, I always gain weight, I always gain fluff, I always feel inflamed, I always feel full. It has never worked for me. So for me to follow the quote unquote guidelines today about what women are supposed to be consuming for protein, it would make me miserable, and I would not have the body that's being advertised for those recommendations. So you have to make sure you're listening to the advice. And does this advice apply to me? Do I understand the importance of protein? Absolutely. Do I do my best to get in as much as I can every single day? Absolutely. But I really have stopped chasing other people's nutritional advice, and I really teach that for you here in our community as well. What does realistic mean for you? Do you have time to spend in the kitchen cooking for yourself every single day? Do you have the budget to maybe order food delivered to your home? There's so many prepackaged food companies today that do that work for you. Like, maybe that's more up your alley. Are you a person who benefits from less is more? I am definitely one of those people, even though I'm very active. The less food I consume, the more I benefit. I just make sure the food I consume is very nutrient dense. I don't want to miss out on social events because of fasting windows, or I don't want to miss out on social events because things that are being eaten aren't considered perfect in the nutrition world. I don't want to live my life that way, but I am very honest with myself about where I give myself exceptions and where I need to pull back, so I'm not disappointed in the results I'm not getting because I'm not being honest about the food that I'm choosing to consume. So realistic does need to come from the individual woman, based on the life that you want to live, the social life that you want to enjoy, food customs and courtesies, how your family practices holidays, or even religious type of events around food, or maybe in the absence of food. If your family has practices of fasting, are you finding that you have some food intolerances? Have you tested those out? What foods do you enjoy? Are you more a carnivore-based person? Are you more a plant-based person? Are you more a combination of foods and you like the variety of it? Like, you have to do the work. The one thing that I always like to remind women of is that food is common sense. Don't let go of common sense. Food guidelines have not changed that much over the years. Fresh fruits and vegetables, getting good quality meat in if you are a person who consumes meat, making sure that you're getting a variety of grains if you're the person that can tolerate grains, getting protein in, making sure you're getting healthy fats, staying away from junk food, getting your water intake, getting some supplementation if you need it. Those are all going to be determined by you. What I can tell you about understanding what it is you need nutritionally with a fasting lifestyle is that it will come so much easier for you if you are into the fasting part of it. The fasting part of it will take care of about 90% of our food problems. You're going to be able to feast internally while you're in a clean fasted state. Your hunger hormones are going to balance out. You're not going to need as much food. Your neurotransmitters change in your brain. Your cravings are going to change. Your food dislikes and likes are going to change. Your fullness signals are going to be turned back on, so you're going to look at food, and if you're not hungry, you're not going to have any desire to eat it. Like, so many things are going to change for you. Be open to the change and be open to listening to what your body is telling you with these healthy changes that you are making. Food should be simple. Food should be fun. Food should be something that we enjoy, and food should also be the thing that's going to allow us to live a very happy and healthy life. Don't make food the enemy, and don't make food the problem. Make sure you're listening to those signs and signals your body is trying to tell you when you are in a food type scenario, and then let fasting do most of the work for you. Okay, last question I'm going to answer. I know this video is long, but it is going to serve a great purpose for our community and hopefully you, with these very simple questions that I get all the time. and hopefully a very simple answer for you. How long should you continue this 24-hour fasting state till we reach our goal weight? So what she's asking is, how long do we keep this 20-hour fasting and this 4-hour feasting? Do we do it until we reach our goal weight? If your mindset is, I'm only going to fast until I get all the things from fasting that I'm hoping for, and then I'm going to stop fasting, that is what we call a diet. We don't diet here in this community. We live a lifestyle. So intermittent fasting should be the thing that you can count on and you have in your life in some way, shape, or form every single day for the rest of your life. Now, we also want to make sure that we're ebbing and flowing, and making sure that we're allowing opportunities for family events and vacations and celebratory things and whatever it is that we do, the holiday rituals that we have. We want to make sure that we're participating in all of those events. But the fasting regimen and the fasting lifestyle approach that we are implementing should be something that we consider every single day. I like to ask myself every single day, how long am I going to fast today and how well am I going to feast today, based on how my day is playing out. And then my thought goes to, I'm going to feast for tomorrow's fast. So let your fasting fall into your lifestyle. What we don't want to do is have that short-minded approach of a diet and change our entire life to accommodate a short period of time for fasting in the hopes that we lose the weight and we lose the body fat, and that this magical thing is going to live forever for us even if we stop doing it. Everyone who stops living an intermittent fasting lifestyle pretty much gains their weight back and all the other ailments that they had before fasting that were fixed with fasting. So if you want to continue to reap the benefits of fasting, you have to continue fasting in some way, shape, or form. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to be the person that has to clean fast for 20 hours for the rest of your life. I ebb and flow personally in and out of the 20-hour fast, and I ebb and flow out of 20 hours of clean fasting. There are just some days in my schedule that doesn't work for me. But I never let my brain think that fasting is not a priority for me, and every opportunity that I get to build in a 20-hour clean fast, I take advantage of it. This is where the when in doubt, fast it out mantra has come to life here in this community. If you are in a situation where you should be doubting if you should fast or doubting if you should eat, I always say go for the fast. If you know you're in a situation where you're not going to fast because you have a scheduled event that makes sense for you not to be fasting, then of course live that up as well. But the 20-hour clean fast should be the thing that you have in your tool belt all the time. Pull it out whenever you want to sleep better, whenever you want to feel better, whenever you want to look better, whenever you want to reverse something that you feel is pesky that's going on in your body, when you want to have a clear mind, when you want to settle something that's going on in your heart that's hard to settle, when you want to manage stress in your life, like you name it, the 20-hour fast is never going to fail you. I always recommend fasting on the days that you, as the woman, wants to look and feel your best. If you want to look and feel your best, the fast will never fail you. Feasting is the opportunity where we have to make some choices, and those choices aren't always serving us well. Feasting opportunities are everywhere. We create the fasting opportunity, and know that it is something that you can do whenever you want to have that opportunity to look and feel your best. I hope today's video answered your question. Again, I know it was a long one. Sometimes they just have to be that way. I do ask that you take a second to hit that subscribe button if you are a new viewer to our channel. Make sure you hit that like button if you are a returning member or even a new member. Just let me know that this information is resonating with you. And then give me your questions and comments in the comment section. Our community is fabulous. If you're not hanging out in the comment section, get in the comment section. Read comments, like other people's comments. Women are so open to sharing their own personal experiences with fasting, whether that be the success of it or maybe some areas where they have been struggling, and you as a community member have those resources available to you. Access them. And then if you want to have some accountability as well, I always say play in the comment section with us. Leave us a comment. Let us know if you're new. Let us know if you're a graduate of class, and just let us know how you're doing. We love hearing from you. Thanks for jumping into today's video. I will see you next week in our next video.